All right. I wanted to cover a very important topic here, real quick. I thought it was a good backdrop and a good time, man, to share this message. And so, I was out here kind of like talking to one of my folks, and they were uh, telling me about some of their recent TikTok experiences, them just scrolling through the app. And they were speaking about how they see a number of so-called black people um, claiming that there is a struggle out here when we're talking about searching for jobs. Okay, and so I wanted to talk about that because they asked me if I believed so-called black people were struggling with employment out here. Um, and so I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to give three reasons why. Yes, I do believe that the job market is becoming a little more difficult for a great majority of so-called black people, and it's gonna get worse if you don't step your game up. Okay, and so just getting into it, man. The first point, all right, as I come in saying step your game up. One of the primary reasons why so-called black people are struggling out here today is because you're not the skilled professionals that you were yesterday. Okay? See, that's a reality so-called black people do not want to face today. You've sat around and played these other people's games way too long. Okay? And when you look at the other side of things, you have been downgraded. All right. While for a very long time, these people were upgraded. Okay. Now that's crumbling down today because, like I say, it's a social Ponzi scheme out here. I ain't said the term in a minute, but that's what you kind of like see. But so-called black people, you're not the skilled professionals that you were yesterday, and I've been telling y'all here and there that the most of the so-called black people you see today, they are integrationalists. Okay, and they are not, all right, the so-called black people of yesterday before the 60s or just slightly after the 60s. Okay, these so called black people were a lot more professional, they were a lot more skilled, they had a lot more going on for themselves as far as the better quality of the person, okay, in the community. Man, today you got a lot of so called black folks out here that that are not, as top tier. Okay. And so, man, the job market becomes a lot more competitive for you because, a lot of these companies and businesses and stuff like that, they're not really itching as much to get you into the door. All right. Believing that you're going to really make a difference. Okay, no different than some of these other folks out here. And but to be real with you, that was the effort, okay? Which was not too smart, but they can't have you as a so-called black person sitting out here being special. All right. And so like I told you, man, the plan was for them to get as much from you and kind of like take off the training wheels and they'll just go ahead and build from there. But they're learning today that they're not really built like that. All right. You got to have a constant connect, all right, in relationship with so-called black people. And I would also just add in just in general people of African descent, but like I tell y'all, man, for a small select few of so-called black people, there are things about them uh, that is not a thing with no other group of person or whatever, nobody else. And so, but that is not as abundant as it once was. Okay, You know, uh, uh, it, it's not as hard of a decision, believe it or not, to decide on who they're going to do business with when they're talking about other people uh, in comparison to so-called black people. But that was a long point, but that's the reason, one of the main reasons why. Okay, it's a little ranty right there, not as clean, I don't think. But if you didn't really catch it, rewind it back, listen to it again. Um, the second reason is because the last two reasons are similar, but the second reason is because, man, you got way more competition. All right. All right. At not your community person, but your co-countrymen, because so-called black and white people, we could say that they're the foundational personnel of this country. All right. And I'm not trying to associate white folks with FBA. I'm not trying to do that. I don't take FBA seriously, but I wouldn't do that to them. Okay. But I'm just saying that these are the people that you think of when you talk about the country. They're the people that were here, that were pulled up, loaded up in here to build up this country. Okay. But they are now back on the scene. Okay. Like they once were, because this is not something new. All right. But you know I made a video speaking on culture class. Okay, if y'all haven't caught that video, you should pull up to catch it. It's a very important video. But I'd explained in there that there are three classes of cultures, and groups can find themselves falling back. And that's what you kind of like see with so-called white folks out here. And so with that change, they're not able to, assume the positions that they were granted at a high level like they once were yesterday. Okay, as a matter of fact, I think right now there's a transition going on. All right, it's in a transition. It's in the red because you do currently have some of them still in these high ranking positions that they have no business being in. It's one of the reasons why the fall and quality of services, products, and things like that in this country is just, turning to garbage. Okay. So, but you got them falling back. And so they're out here applying for, these jobs. One thing just here in the city, I ain't never seen so many white bus drivers. Okay. But you're starting to see that because they're falling back to that culture class. And within that culture class, you see people occupy a lot of those positions. The service sector and all of those various different things. And so that's kind of like an issue for so-called black folks. And then the last thing I want to use for the last minute and a half is look, you also got other competition coming from these Eastern Africans. There was a so-called black man. I couldn't find his comment, but he was critical of the fact that because they were checking out that viral video of that girl in a Wendy's. I think she was dancing, and there was a older worker dude back in the back looking at her dance, and so it went viral because of that. But there was a so-called black man that stated that, look, this is the reason why these other people are gonna get over here and get up over you, because they're not coming over here dancing on TikTok videos for likes and stuff like that. All right. Just in general. All right. There might be some here and there out there, but they're not doing that. They're not up front on TikTok talking about F this job. I ain't doing this job. And, they're not up there doing that because they understand that that is bad representation. All right. And it's counterproductive to what's going on with them right now. They're trying to come over here to come up out of what they were in the past. All right. And so, they got a lot on the line. So-called black folks are not out here like that, and that is working against you. That's the reason why I told you about that black stuff. Because it's going to be easy for these employers to say, well, I'm going to choose that black person over you. All right. And y'all not helping out here, being out here the way that y'all are. So I'll keep it at those three there.